All right, welcome to my live stream unboxing these very fancy boxes that have come to me all the way from across the world in Istanbul, Turkey. Recently, I entered into a relationship with TRX Cymbals to be a TRX Cymbals artist, and I will make another video at some point explaining a little bit more about how that happened and a little bit more about TRX cymbals generally and a little bit more about my cymbal philosophy. But for right now, I just want to open these two boxes of cymbals that I have been waiting for with bated breath. I will tell you one cool thing about TRX is that they were super willing to make basically anything I wanted. And so some of the pieces in these boxes are fairly custom. Mostly I'm just going to be opening these and kind of showing them off. A couple of them maybe I'll hit. We'll see how they sound, but let's break out the penknife and open some boxes. I've played Turkish cymbals a bunch in my past. Turkey is one of the homes of cymbals across the world. The other main home being China, of course. And most of the cymbals that we think of belonging to American music are Turkish style cymbals, and that just means, you know, with the bell on top and then a fairly even taper. The Chinese cymbals, right, are the ones that have that extra bow at the edge. Ooh, cymbals. Okay, so what we got? So TRX has a few different lines of cymbals, and we'll talk really briefly about those while I'm doing this. I have some splashes from the MDM or medium series. This is basically their regular cymbal, right? This would probably be comparable to, you know, if you were thinking other brands like Zildjian K's maybe. I love small splashes. A thing I like to do is have rows of pitches, and I'm definitely not going to be able to show you this today because I'm not going to put any of these on stands for you today, sorry. But so I have a 6-inch medium splash and an 8-inch, not yet, and a 10-inch. And so the 6 and the 8 and the 10 are going to be kind of, I'm thinking of them as like a pitch row of splashes that'll go down, ding, 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 right? This one goes upside down right in front of me. And then the 8 and the 10 will go off to the side. And then, let's see if it's in this box. I bet it's this one. It is. All right, so this is from the Energy series, which are one of their heavier lines, although this is, as a splash, is still pretty light. You can see I can bend it. And the big difference about this is it has an unlathed bell, which just controls the sound a teeny bit. We're going to get to some lathing and unlathing issues later on. The 6-inch splash is going to go upside down on top of the 11. Hopefully this will be the lowest pitch out of those splashes. And then from the Alt series, I have an 8-inch splash. This one feels super thin at the edge, right? And this just has a, not only is the bell unlathed, but it's also left raw. So the Alt series, you can see, has a little bit finer hammering and a raw bell. And also, let's look at the profile. The Alt is a little flatter than the Energy. And then the Energy bell is buffed top and bottom. Oh, they're so heavy. So this is a pair of mini hats. This is from the Bright series. The Bright series are heavy. Woo, they're heavy. And these are unfinished unlathed rather, brilliant finish top and bottom. And I love unlathed timbals. You tend to get a little bit more direct attack is the best way to say it. And these will be my, pretty obviously, these will be my X, my closed hats, here, over to my right when I'm on the drum set. Like I say, we're going to do, there'll be a, this is literally, I waited overnight to open these boxes for y'all. This is literally the first time I'm going through this box. So over the weekend, there'll be some, hey, look at me set these cymbals up and talk about how they go kind of videos. But for now, I just wanted to open the boxes with y'all. So, cause it's kind of like Christmas. Literally, they just made these over the last few weeks for me, which that's pretty cool. So this is also from the limited line. So this has the, oh no, we haven't gotten to a limited yet. So the limited series, again, has that raw, unbuffed bell. And then it also has a third surface. So it's got like regular lathing and then this kind of brilliant lathing. And I have already, if you've seen some of my videos and you've seen the TRX China, that is a limited series China. And I really like the way this extra, the different lathing works on that extra flange. It just creates, I'm going to mute my mic for a second so you can actually hear the cymbal. And right, it's a pretty thin cymbal, but not super thin, and it acts like a wicked thin cymbal, right? China cymbals a lot of times, they work best if they're really thin, but if they're really thin, they're also fairly delicate and fragile. And it's been quite a while since I've broken a cymbal, but that doesn't mean I never do. And you know, cymbals are too expensive to break. So when there's something that gives you the sound you want, especially a sound that's a little thinner, especially for a China cymbal. I mean, I have my Chinas, you know, I set them up. Remember, girl of the 80s. I set up my Chinas vertically, pretty much, right? Which means I'm wailing on this, on the underside of the flange. And yeah, that cymbals break when you do that. So the little bit extra weight, but yet still sounding lighter, is a really nice advantage of that limited series. Okay, hi-hats. This is exciting. So I forget exactly how many pairs of hi-hats I ordered. So these are from the medium line. These are, again, basically they're like standard, I don't want to say run-of-the-mill, but but basic cymbals is their medium series, right? They're made in Istanbul, so they're hand hammered, hand lathed. So they've got a little bit of that, you know, more chaotic style hammering, as opposed to, you know, when the machine hammering tends to be a little bit more even. I don't know if you can see the hammering marks. But one thing I did was to special order them a little on the heavy side. I tend to like hats that are either super light or super heavy. For a while I was playing two tops as my pair of hi-hats, and for a while I played two bottoms. And then I've also played ones with really heavy bottoms and really heavy tops. So like a super extra heavy bottom with a, you know, medium heavy top. And that tends to be where I'm most comfortable. That the heavy bottom really, if you've watched me play at all, which if you haven't, welcome. But if you've watched me play at all, you know that I like to do a lot with my left foot on the hi-hat, and that means that I want that heavier bottom cymbal to give me more projection, because I play 13-inch hi-hats pretty much exclusively. Every once in a while I'll break out a pair of 14s, I like how other people, it sounds when other people play like 15s and 16s, right? I think those sound cool, but I've never been able to convince myself to buy a pair. So, so I have to make do. I have to make do with a few different pairs of 13s. Okay, so that's the medium. Those are the most normal sounding hi-hats out of the bunch, probably. Again, I'm literally opening them with y'all. I haven't heard any of these. Okay, so this is our first look at the Ice series, and this has a nice brilliant finish, and the way they get this is what they call, it's a diamond finish, and it's a special type of lathing that gives that brilliant finish. It's really cool. And you can see there's some extra hammering going on here. So there's the first hammering, and then there's extra hammering, and that's the dots that you can really see as like polka dots almost. That's that extra layer of hammering. And this is the top, and even these I asked for them to be pretty heavy. The bottom especially is pretty beefy. Okay. All right, two more, I think. Whew. Okay, so this is a medium top and a bright bottom, and you might say, Penny, what the heck are you doing? I've seen you're already playing a bright top, and you just showed me a pair of medium bottoms. These I got specifically to mimic one of my favorite pairs of hi-hats that I ever owned when I was younger, and I was trying to get something that was comparable. And so that's this really heavy bottom with a fairly heavy, right? This I can bend it a little, but not much, right? Fairly heavy top. And like I say, so that is that's a callback to a pair of hi-hats that I owned like 20 years ago, and it's one of those things where maybe I shouldn't have sold those hi-hats. I actually only sold them probably like 7 or 8 years ago, and I probably shouldn't have, but you know, shoulda, woulda, coulda. But this is my attempt to match those, and we'll see this weekend how I did. I have some studio recordings with those old hats, so we'll see if these are a close second. Honestly, I'll tell you, the reason I sold those hats is because I did grow a little bit away from that sound as like my everyday sound. This is the pair of hats that I'm expecting, and we'll see once they get on the kit, but I'm expecting this to be my everyday hats. And this is the TRX Blends Series, and pretty much almost all cymbal manufacturers have partial lathe, partial unlathed cymbals. The thing that I really like about the TRX Blend Series, they're called, so it's blends up here and then medium and bright, right? So we saw the medium series, which are they're regular lathed and hammered, and then the bright, which are the unlathed but brilliant finish. And this is that combination of the two, so medium bright blend. The thing I like about the TRX cymbal smiths, what they do is they don't lathe up quite so far. A lot of other manufacturers, when they do the lathed versus unlathed section, the lathe section goes a little bit more than halfway. And for my ear, what's going on here, I'm going to hit this one for you again in a second. I'll mute my lav so you can hear it just on the overhead. But what's going on here is you get a little bit more articulation from the unlathed part and a little bit more wash or spread from the lathed part. And the difference is subtle, right, of course, but keeping the unlathed section a little bit bigger for me really makes really helps the articulation of the cymbal, which I'm always going to be happier erring on the side of too articulate, right, more than less articulate. How's that for specific? So let me mute my mic so you can hear. I'll tap this a little bit, and I'll play the two different zones so you can hear, and the bell too. Right, so just on a 13-inch cymbal, the difference between the unlathed section and the lathed section is really pretty profound, right? Throwing it on a hi-hat stand is gonna change the sound a lot, right? And then playing it with the bottom cymbal is gonna change the sound a lot too. But there's some videos of the TRX Blends Series on the TRX YouTube channel, and a few other people have made some videos of them. And the thing that really struck me about all of the cymbals in the blends line especially was how articulate they were while still being full-bodied, right? So I'm really excited. These are the hats that I'm expecting to be my main hats. We will see. This is so funny. I feel like you all are watching me open my birthday presents. But you're here, so you love me, so happy birthday me. Okay, so then, let's see if I did this right. Yeah, okay, so I have two 16-inch ice crashes and a 17. And what's gonna happen is I'm gonna pick the lower pitch of these. This is a thing I've done forever. I used to have 4 crashes that I would have as like a pitch row. And it was a 16-inch crash, and then a 17, and an 18, and a 19. And the 16 would be in the middle, and then 16, 17, 18, 19, right? So I could go so I would go left, right to go down the pitches of crashes. And over the years, I've changed that up a little bit. I have that 11-inch splash in the middle as that top pitch. What used to be the 16-inch crash up top now has become an 11-inch splash in the middle. And I've gone with 2 16-inch crashes for a while because I had a lot of trouble. One of the things I tried was to go with heavier cymbals and then thinner cymbals, because as cymbals get thinner, the pitch goes down, as well as when they get, the diameter gets bigger, the pitch goes down. When they get thinner, the pitch goes down. There's a lot of things you can do to affect the pitches of cymbals, but the biggest thing is when cymbals are different styles of manufacture, right? They tend to change their tonal character as well as things like their pitch. And so after a while, I decided that really what I cared about was more the pitches. And the pitch difference doesn't have to be huge, right? I just want a descending row to go from so if these are the cymbals in front of me, right, left, and then the 17 is going to be over to my right, over the floor tom. And so let's see how easy this is to. Okay. And so this is another 16. I think the second one is higher. Yep. So this one will go to my right, so over my ride cymbal. This one will go to my left over my hi-hat cymbal, and then hopefully the 17 will be lower pitch. Doesn't always work out that way, but usually. But I'm not gonna pay too much attention to that today. These also are in that ice series. Yeah, right. These are pretty thin, but still, these to me are like really nice, loud, pretty crashes. I'm gonna crash on this one for you, just so you can see. So it's thin enough, right, to have some give and to be pretty, but then it's weighty enough to have some projection as well. right? So it's a nice balance point. You know, most of the music I tend to play, well, the music I try to play the most, let's say that. The music that I try to play the most is, you know, this progressive stuff that has lots of dynamic changes. And, you know, it could be, you know, the guitar player could turn his volume totally off and just play his electric guitar acoustically. And that's a pretty quiet thing. And so to be able to match that super quiet volume, but then also, you know, he also can play pretty loud. And I mean, you know, electric guitar, you can turn it up as loud as you want, whether it goes to 11 or not. So I really need cymbals that, you know, if you breathe on them, they have some sound and some life and some body. But if you beat the crap out of them, they don't wilt, right? And for the most part, I still like those bright crashes. You know, nowadays everyone's playing those super thin, dark, dry crashes, and those are all right. I kind of feel the same way about those that I do big hi-hats. I like them when other people play them. I've played a few, you know, over the years, and mostly I feel like, it doesn't give me out what I want, right? So, okay, box 1 is empty. I need like my cousin to take the empty Christmas packages away. All right, box 2. So this is the fun one. This is going to be some rides and some custom rides to boot. And again, that was one of the things that made me really excited about TRX Cymbals and becoming a TRX artist was their willingness to work with me on some custom designs that I was looking for. People who know me well know that I am cymbal picky. So I don't know if this has occurred to any of you, but so my name is Penny, but my spanking name is Penelope, and a good friend of mine when I was younger dubbed me Picky Penelope, because I am one to be picky about certain things, and cymbals probably more than anything else, honestly. So I was super excited that they were willing to, you know, not just take, oh, hey, I want this custom order, but also, you know, I could describe the sound I wanted and show them videos and audio tapes of, hey, this is what I'm looking for. And they were super great about wanting to work with me in that regard, which is, to me, that's what I'm looking for. I'm old enough that for me, like, customer service is like, it's like the deal. Right, let me see if I can. All right. So, so this, my friends, is a flat ride. I hate styrofoam. So if you've never seen a flat ride, this is a flat ride. And all it is a ride without a bell. And I love them to death. And they're usually too quiet for me to play in live settings, but they record brilliantly. Roy Haynes on Now He Sings, Now He Sobs is kind of famously one of the first drummers, if not the first, to use the flat ride extensively on that Chick Corea record. Pat Metheny's drummers have made great use of flat rides. Danny Gottlieb and Antonio Sanchez and Paul Wertico. And so they just, look at how thin it is. It's so thin. Oh my goodness. So they, you can kind of like wail on them and they won't build up, right? They're always, what did I say earlier about articulation? They're always super articulate, right? I'm definitely going to mute myself so you can hear how this one sounds. I don't know if you could see how obvious it is how fluttery the edges are as I was playing. That's so cool. Oh. All right, so we can stop. I'm happy. That's so I've custom ordered cymbals in the past from other companies. Honestly, from a couple of the companies in Turkey before. And I love doing it, but every time you custom order cymbals, it's a bit of a, you know, you're kind of rolling the dice because cymbals are unique, right? They're just this metallurgical magic, right? And so even if you have an idea of, oh, I want this weight and this shape and, you know, this style of hammering and lathing and whatever. Oh, so this is from the New Dark series. Oh, it doesn't say that anywhere. But this is also unlathed, but then it's sandblasted. And I think that helps to dry out the cymbal a little bit. Oh, that's gonna be fun to really mess around with. But so even when you know what kind of cymbal, you know, oh, I want this, I want that, I want a flat ride and make it this many grams, and you know, do this and do that and blah blah blah. There's still no guarantee that you're going to get a cymbal that you're really happy with. And the funny thing is, when you custom order a cymbal, pretty much all of the manufacturers have this deal. Some of them won't even do custom cymbals, but of the companies that will, you know, when you custom order a cymbal, you don't get to return it, which is, you know, fair, right? Because you're buying something that they don't think is a good enough idea to make it as one of their regular models, right? So you're saying, hey, give me this weird thing, right? Okay. So, flat ride number 2. Oh, I hate styrofoam. Okay, so now this one is again in the ice series. See that nice brilliant finish. And this is some more obvious hammering on this. And there's the underside. This one I asked for a little bit heavier. That first one, I was going for a really raw, dark, dry kind of sound. Almost no like shimmer top end at all outside of that first click, right? And I think they nailed it. I think they did really well with that one. Same thing, I'll mute my lav for a second and play on this so we can see how this sounds. Looks pretty, I'll say that. Okay, I am so happy. So the two cymbals that I was most worried about, because they were the most custom orders, are the 2 flat rides, right? Everything else I kind of basically picked from their regular series of cymbals and requested custom weights here and there, especially when I was trying to, you know, try and make this one lower pitched than that one, yada, yada, yada. But the flat rides, I was kind of like, hey, do this wild and crazy thing for me. And they were like, of course we will. And I was like, get out of town. And I, I can't wait to put them on stands and actually play them. But my initial impression of both of those flat rides, like out of the box, is that they hit both of those out of the park. Those, I think both of those are like 100% what I was looking for from each of those cymbals, which is, I wasn't expecting 100%. I was expecting close. I was figuring I would like them, but I didn't think they'd be perfect. But wow. All right. We're almost done, I promise. I really, any of you that are actually watching this, because if you can't tell, I'm sitting on the floor away from my computer, which is over there. So if any of you all are like leaving comments or anything and I'm not answering, I apologize. It's because I'm across the room on the floor. But I couldn't, I'm feeling pretty confident about my video making generally, but I am very new to the whole, hey, let's try and stream thing. So, but I had to stream. There have been certain things in the past few months that, as you may know, if you watch them, that I felt like, oh, no, this I have to stream about, even though it's going to be not great. I keep looking over to make sure I haven't muted my lav again. Am I talking? Yes. So yeah, I've just got my webcam up. I have some new gear that the live streaming is going to get better or happen at all in the next week or two. But the time to learn how to use that gear is this weekend, and I wanted to open these right now. So these showed up yesterday afternoon, and I thought, oh well, I'll do a live stream. But I had my church gig last night, and I had plans earlier today, and I had to finish up Friday's lesson video last night too. So it's like, oh, all right, I'll do a live stream Friday evening. And then I realized, well, but wait, that means I can't open them for a whole day. So I really wanted to do this unboxing live. All right, so I mentioned earlier that I have a 19-inch China in the, what series is that? I always forget the name of that series. The limited series. So I have a 19 to go with this 15. But I wanted out of all the Chinas that, the TRX Chinas that I heard online, the ones, there were a few that really stuck out to me, and one of them was the limited series Chinas. And so I wanted a 20. I'm sorry, the alt. Did I mention the alt and the limited, because they're so similar. The limited has that extra weird lathing part on the outside, but besides that, they're really similar, and my brain has not fully processed the difference. But the alt series Chinas really were close to kind of that like prototypical most versatile China sound that I like. The dark series, which I don't think I have any dark cymbals in this pile, but the dark series Chinas I like a lot too. And maybe one of those will be coming down the road. But so the alt China, again, we've got that unlathed raw finish bell and some extra hammer marks. You can see those are those like extra little dimples there. And then again, this, I'm gonna hit it, not super thin, but thin-ish. I've had China cymbals that you could almost like fold in half. They were so thin. I'm gonna hit it, although remember, the thing about me hitting my China cymbals or testing China cymbals is, especially the 20, this is going to go almost completely vertical, right? And so however it sounds right now, it's going to sound totally different once I get it up on my stand. So, but let's give it a whack and see how it sounds. So it's got that it's got a little bit of like gong and a lot of trash. It's, yeah, I think this is going to be really nice. I like to play my, sometimes I've used 2 China cymbals over on my right hand side, because really what I want is one that I can like smack for accents, but then also one that I can ride on like a swish. So think like Billy Cobham, his China ride sound. But Billy Cobham and Simon Phillips, to get that sound, they're using like 22 or even 24-inch like Pang cymbals, which are pretty heavy, and the flange is like right at the edge, and they're almost bordering on ride cymbals. And I don't want one of those, right? And so I always try and find that one cymbal. Using 2 China cymbals over there was just a nightmare, because I need one more cymbal stand, like I need a hole in the head, right? But putting the second China was just not going to happen. So I try to find one China cymbal that does all those things that I want, that I can ride on, but then also when you smack it will have a fairly short aggressive attack, right? So not decay too long, but then also when you ride on it, not sound too splattery, right? I have yet to find the perfect China cymbal. We'll see if that's the perfect one. I have a feeling when I do finally find like the perfect one for what I'm talking about, it will be the only China I ever use after that point, right? Okay, so we're back to another blends cymbal. This is a 19-inch crash. And again, the blend cymbals that I found online all seem to have a really nice stick impact sound. And so even though this is a crash, it's pretty thin, right? I bet, haven't hit it yet, so maybe I'm just totally talking out of school, but I bet this is going to work really nicely as a crash ride. Let's take a listen. A little washy for really a crash ride, but I think especially once it's on a stand, it'll dry out that teeny bit. And when I say like crash ride's that's a type of cymbal that most people think of it, have a certain thing in mind when you say crash ride. And I tend to have something else in mind when I say crash ride, because this is pretty close to what I'm talking about. Although this is definitely a crash that on top has kind of nice articulation. But it is definitely still a crash. Using this as a crash ride would be a special effect, maybe is the word I'm going for. And that's the thing, right? When I want a crash ride, I want a cymbal that stack of cymbals is getting too big over there. I want a cymbal that I can, the crash sound is more important to me than the ride cymbal, than the ride sound. There you go. But it still has to have some top end tick. I've tried some crash rides, and when you try and ride on it at all, they just like splatter. That's that modern, kind of wash riding thing. And that's not at all what I'm looking for when I'm looking for a crash ride. And I think that's kind of what's become crash ride. So anyway, really like that. That again is the half and half, right? So the medium on the outside and the bright. And again, this is, see how there's a little bit more of the unlathed than the lathed section, which I really appreciate. All right. This is my first ever cymbal with pre-drilled holes. I fought against, oh my God, it's so thin. It's so thin, look at that. So this is the Bright Lightning Crash. And I fought against cymbals with holes forever. for lots of reasons. I thought they were a gimmick. I thought, oh my God, you're just going to crack it. Look at all those are like pre-cracks there. I talked to some people before I ordered this, and some people were of the opinion that yes, they are in fact more fragile, and some people were of the opinion that no, if anything, the holes help to give it more strength to absorb the whatever, blah blah blah. So we'll see. We'll see if I crack it instantly, then I'll feel like, oh, I was right all along. Also, a lot of times the cymbals with holes just haven't been a sound that I was looking for. But the lightning crashes, they also have, TRX also makes some in some of their other series that are called thunder crashes. And there's not too many holes, and I really I liked pretty much all of the lightning and thunder crashes that I heard. I decided to go with the lightning based on the recommendation of the guy who was working with me at TRX. So let's give this a quick listen. And again, right, because it's so thin, it's got that like fluttery edge when you hit it. This one, my plan is to put this over on my left side and sometimes even use it as like a weird ride voice. So we'll see. It might go into the pile of cymbals that gets used sometimes. Okay, so now the 21-inch rides. I'm gonna play this one that's on top last, because that's the one, kind of like the Blends hats. I think this is gonna be the one that is it. We'll see. Who knows? So let me see if I can flip these over. Oh my God, they're heavy. All right. Woo. So this one is in the Bright series, and this has the big bell. See that bell stands out proud. And it's pretty heavy. I requested all of these pretty heavy because, again, I would rather something be a little bit more articulate than not. Just for the way I play and what I want out of my cymbals. I want to hear that articulation, right? Okay, so yeah, let's give it a listen. Oh. And it's got some roar, right, to be sure. The ride cymbal, not as much as the China cymbal, but the ride cymbals, my ride cymbals too, I tend to have at a pretty steep angle. And that tends partly just where they position in my kit. That's how I like them. But also that helps to dry out the sound a little bit. Some of the drummers that I listen to from the 70s especially, their ride cymbals are totally vertical. The one that comes most to mind is Alphonse Mouzon had his ride cymbal totally vertical, but then also Al Foster did. Stanley Jordan has played with a pretty vertical ride cymbal, and my favorite drummer, Rod Morgenstein, right back in the early days of the Dixie Dregs and the Steve Morse Band, his main ride cymbal was almost vertical, not quite, and that really helps to dry out that roar of a cymbal. it's this funny thing that you get trapped in with ride cymbals. Is you need a heavier cymbal to have volume, and the weight helps with the articulation as well, but that can also lead to this like sustained pitch thing going on. This also, the bright one that we just listened to, has that bigger bell, and that contributes a bit to the cymbal kind of opening up, we say, and so the whole cymbal is generating a wash, right? Okay, so now we're back to the Alt series, and the last three, told you we're almost done. The last three have the regular flatter style bell, right? See, the bell doesn't stand up so proud. This one's also pretty heavy. So you see that it's got a little bit of a change in style of lathing towards the edge. And this one also is pretty heavy. I'm gonna weigh all these. I won't do that while we're on stream and bore you all to death. But I'm gonna weigh them all and see. I'll see how close they got to the weights that I requested. That's another thing too. So if you ever do custom order cymbals, which sure, I'll be naughty. Everyone should custom order at least one cymbal once in their life. Design like your dream cymbal, what you think is, I don't care if it's like a special splash, you know, for a couple $100 that you think, wow, no one makes a splash just like I want. I want a splash like this. Even just like studying what it takes to request, oh, here's what I think I want from a cymbal. You will learn so much about lathing and hammering and the bow shape. And so, you know, these are so heavy. So this is the bell and this is the bow, right? And then this is the edge. And the shape of the bell and the shape of the bow really affect the sound of the cymbal, not just the weight and diameter and hammering and lathing, right? I mean, cymbals are, did I mention they are metallurgic magic? I like that. I'm gonna trademark that, unless one of you run off and trademark that while I'm live streaming. Okay, so let's check out the alt ride. So my first impression is that I like this better than the bright big bell for like my main ride. I like the bright big bell a lot. I like to have, it's funny, even though I'm like a prog rock / rock pop drummer, I tend to think of my ride the way a jazz drummer thinks of their ride. And in so much as, you know, I want one that I love, but I also want to have some different colors, different palettes to my, different colors on my palette. There we go. That's what I'm trying to say. And so even though, you know, I can say, oh, I think I like that better than the first one, I like the first one a lot. It's really exciting that none of the cymbals that I've heard so far this evening have I thought, oh, I don't know. Right? I really liked everything that's come out of the boxes that the first few I didn't hit, right? The splashes and such. But everything that's come out of the boxes, I've thought, oh, holy crap, these sound amazing. Okay, two more. Next is, there've been a lot of ice and blends in these two boxes. Oh, this is heavy. Oh, it's heavy. So this is the Ice series ride, again with that diamond finish lathing and extra little, like I say, those little dimples are like an extra layer of hammering. And again, we've got that flatter bell style. And let's give this one a listen. Okay, so that one, I think I like the stick impact sound on the ice one a little bit more than the alt, but it also had a little bit more wash and buildup than the alt. This is going to be really interesting over the next few days to go through and make some recordings and videos with the different ride cymbals and see which one really stands out as my favorite. Having said that, let's do the one that I expect to be my favorite. And I saw pictures of these before they sent them from Turkey, and a thing I noticed about this one, a couple of the, so I've mentioned this with the blends before, that they do more unlathed than lathed. Look how much more unlathed than lathed is on this ride cymbal. That is, oh, I'm really hopeful that this is going to be like the ride, the Penny ride. All right, let us hear it. My arm's getting tired. Okay, yeah, this is another one that's making me laugh because it's so good. Like I say, over the next few days, I will do some videotaping and recording. I already have a 21-inch energy ride. That was my process with starting my relationship with TRX was, you know, getting a few cymbals to see what the brand was about and see how I felt about them. And honestly, one of the cymbals I was like, you know, I don't think this is what I'm looking for, and so I sent that back. But most of the cymbals that I got, I really liked. The 21-inch energy I like a lot, but I don't think is like perfect as the ride. It kind of is in the similar camp to like maybe the 21-inch ice in that it sounds nice and I'm glad I have it, but it's not. It's one that I would use sometimes for color, not as my main ride. I think this might be the main ride for a long time. I don't know if you could hear it. I don't know if it comes through. I just have a couple of my overheads. I don't have like a full setup of mics on, and I'm obviously sitting on the floor, not really in a place where I normally do miking. So, did I mention this is like a low-key live stream? And it looks like some people are watching, which I think is hilarious. I love you all for being here. This is so opening cymbals with y'all has been super fun. Literally, it feels like Christmas, or more I guess my birthday, because I'm the center of attention and y'all are paying attention to me. But I don't know if you could tell on the when I just played this a little bit. Here, it's almost like, because this part is unlathed, it's almost like the cymbal is like constrained, right? It's almost a thing that a lot of people do will be put duct tape, or even, I shouldn't say duct. If you know the difference between duct tape and gaff tape, try to always use gaff tape. It costs a little bit more. It's a little harder to find, but it doesn't leave that awful residue that duct tape leaves. So yeah, gaff tape, not duct tape. But anyway, people will put tape on their cymbals, usually on the underside, and sometimes they'll be, Rod Morgenstein actually, the pictures of his old ride cymbal, which I love the sound of, has a big hunk of tape going on the top. And I'm like, well, that's not fair. I love your ride cymbal sound, but it's taped. Like, how do I even start to try and get, so do I get that cymbal, the same model cymbal, and then tape it? And all right, I tried that. I don't like that. So taping cymbals is very, it's not an exact science, is what I'm trying to say. Pardon me. I am. So the half lathed thing, one of the reasons that I've liked cymbals like this, I tend not to really love crashes like this. I like the crashes that are half lathed more as like special effects than my main crash, because they sound a little muted or constrained. But with my ride cymbal, that's exactly what I want, right? Because I want that articulate sound. I get the cleaner, clickier stick sound, which I love, right? Click is the is the word I'm looking for. And then with that little bit of lathing at the edge, the cymbal opens up a little bit, right? So it's not just a one-trick pony. It has some more sounds to give you. I can't wait to get this thing up on the stand and see how it sounds. It just from going through the box in my initial tap tap tappity tap, I think the Blends Ride and the Blends hats are gonna be the main hats and ride. We'll see. I like the alt ride a lot. I like the ice ride a lot. I like the bright ride. I can't see it being the main ride, right? We are done. I'm going to be doing some videos over the next few weeks talking about, I probably won't do a separate video for each cymbal, but maybe there'll be, you know, a video on the splashes, and there'll probably be some overlap because I can see doing a video for the splashes and then for the rides, and then I have 3 chinas, so maybe for the chinas and the hats and that kind of thing. But then I can also see, okay, here's what the bright cymbals are all about. Here's what the energy cymbals are all about. Here's what, and at this point I have 2 energy cymbals, so that would be tough. And I won't even make one of the dark and new dark because I only have one new dark, and that's the flat ride. And I have, well, I guess I have I have the bright dark hybrid hats, and so I have a bottom dark hat, but it seems silly to do a video talking about dark cymbals. There's a few other lines that I didn't even get any cymbals from. The CLS line, which I think are some of the best jazz cymbals I've heard. They have this really cool feature that's like, they have 3 sets of 3 little holes, almost like the size of like rivet holes, but maybe a teeny bit bigger. But there's like sets of them around and it just seems to, it gives the cymbal like just a teeny bit more air, and it's really great sounding jazz cymbals. I don't play jazz enough to have included any of those in my initial order. Maybe with the next order. I am so happy with these cymbals. I'm so excited to get them on the kit and play them and have y'all hear how they really sound. I am so happy that any of you that stuck around with me have stuck around. This will be awkward because I'm gonna move and then I'm gonna move my webcam. But I'm gonna go over and see if there's any comments or questions from any of you all that I could answer. Here we go, watch. Here's my webcam. There I am. Whee! Oh, around this way. So, let's see. So, who's still here? Hi, Fernando. Hi, Catriel. Ricky. Thanks for being here. All right. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. I don't see any specific questions, so I'm going to go. Thanks for being here, those of you that were here. We'll do some more streamy stuff hopefully soon, and there'll be some more. Hey, Fernando. I knew you'd be here. Thanks for being here, man. I really appreciate it. What do you think? How do you think the cymbals sound? So, but we'll be doing some more streaming stuff. Some of the lessons are going to go to a streaming format, and yeah, and like I say, I'll do some videos just talking about these cymbals in a little bit more depth. But I'm going to go for now. It's been about an hour of you all watching me play and open my birthday Christmas presents. So yeah, I appreciate y'all hanging out. Don't forget to check out my channel. I'm doing this series, Your First Year of Drum Lessons, that really, even though that's what it's called, the lessons can be for anybody, most of them. Some of them are kind of remedial, but most of the lessons are good for everybody. So yeah, check that out. And the next one of those, the most recent one came out earlier today, but the next one will be coming out next Wednesday. And I will see you all then. All right. Love you guys. Bye.